Hey guys, this video is just going to be a little bit different, a little bit mysterious. I want to share something with you that just happened to me, and maybe you can help me figure out this little mystery. And I'm also going to share with you how this mystery connected me to one of the first real estate transactions, or the bigger real estate transactions that I had completed in my early 20s. So first, let's just rewind just a minute. I started out in the real estate investing niche by being a student. I was someone who was actively sitting in seats, attending seminars and buying courses and reading a bunch of books about how to invest in real estate and how to make more money. That's really genuinely at the core of what I wanted to do, was just make more money. And I was in this mindset and this deep struggle of how do I do it and educate. And I was constantly educating. I was actually, I was focused more on buying knowledge and attaining knowledge than I was actually making deals and making offers. And the only way you make money in real estate and in this online business world is by making offers. That's the only way you make money. And it wasn't until after hiring a coach and having my own personal breakthroughs, really discovering what the fear was. Just a quick one, and I'll share this mysterious thing that I found today in my bag. I was sitting in a Chili's restaurant with my coach that I had hired to teach me about real estate, and one of the most profound things he told me was, "So Nate, you've done all your homework, you've got all the documents, you're ready, you've set up your company, you're all set, you've done everything, you've done all the 50-ish steps to starting your business. The only thing you haven't done is you haven't made an offer. Why?" And it was that thing, as I actually immediately started feeling like this overwhelming feeling in my stomach, and I started to sweat, and he said, what's holding you back? And I said, what would happen if they say yes? And that's when he said, well, that's when the game starts. That's when everything gets better. And that was the biggest thing that was holding me back, is what if my seller said yes to my offer? What if my buyer would say yes to my offer? And at that time, it was just a really unique thing, and it was really holding me back. And so he took some steps of action with me to help me break through that fear, to go from fear to faith and then into fortune. And if it wasn't for those small baby steps and him guiding me through the process, I wouldn't be here where I'm at today. Now, reflecting on that, just about 6 months after, I think it was about 4 to 6 months after that, I found the properties, he guided me, and I closed my first deal, my first real estate transaction when I was 20, but it was very small. I had actually made $1,000 and then $4,000, but it was this deal that changed my life. And now let me just fast forward to just recently. I literally just got back from Miami this morning. I landed at 5 o'clock this morning. I haven't slept all day. I probably look really tired, and I did shower though. But I'm just really exhausted. It was a lot of long flights. I did get to catch up on Star Wars. Yeah, that's another topic in another video for another time. But so I was unpacking my bags today, and I pretty much used the same 2 bags for many, many years. Actually, so I have a backpack. I have a Toomey backpack, and I also have a Toomey messenger bag, and my messenger bag carries my iPad. Well, today I just decided to pull everything out, which actually I periodically do. I probably do this every 3 to 6 months. And I'll just go through my bag and say, okay, is there anything in here that I don't need? Is there any junk in here? I'm a pretty organized, clean guy, so I like to make sure my things are in order. Well, today, as I was cleaning out my messenger bag, I found this. And now to you, this is just a pen, but if you can look closely, you'll actually see a little bit of rust on there. You can see a little bit of rust on this pen. But here's the thing. Let me tell you what it says first, okay? So on this pen, it says Pacheco Insurance Company. Now you're probably like, oh, what the heck's a Pacheco? Sounds like, I think most people would say, oh, what is that? Like a Spanish restaurant, or a Spanish whatever. So Pacheco Insurance Company, this is actually a Portuguese insurance company. And the man who owned the company, I did all my insurance as a kid through him. I did my car insurance. I think I did a health insurance or property insurance through one of them. He sold all kinds of insurance, but I think I had like 2 or 3 policies with him. And when it came time that I was trying to sell some real estate, some bigger deals, I was going from these small assignments on contracts. Well, he was actually one of my first cash buyers. He was in insurance and real estate, but he also was a cash buyer. And I'll never forget it, he went to go look at one of my properties, and he didn't buy the first one. He actually bought the second one. And that deal, actually, it was that deal and then the next one, I made about $18,000 combined. And that changed my life. Like those two deals literally made me believe that real estate was all that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And it is in multiple capacities: real estate investing, the real estate education business, real estate masterminds, coaching. I mean, it's been my life for the past 20 years. So it's really interesting though. And why this showed up today. Now, guys, this pen, I haven't seen this pen. I saved it for a reason, okay? I actually kept this pen in Portugal. Right now, I'm in Uganda. And I kept this pen. I even know where I kept it. I'm that organized. I actually kept it in my drawer. Now the mystery is, how did that pen end up from that drawer in Portugal to my messenger bag here in Uganda? But here's the crazy part. Like I said, I use my messenger bag daily. It's not that big. I clean it out regularly. How did this pen show up in my bag? That's the crazy part. And it's not like I recently went to Portugal and went through that drawer. Actually, that drawer is still locked. It's still locked right now. There's stuff in it, but I haven't gone in it since 2020. So over 5 years. So how did this pen show up? I'm going to tell you what I think it is. And then maybe you can have your own ideas and share it in the comments, but I'll tell you what I think and the reason why this pen showed up. I think God works in mysterious ways. And recently I'm taking one of my companies and brands through a rebranding, something that I've never done before. And it's a very unique time. It actually, a lot of it reminds me of the time where I was learning a bunch of things and consuming a lot of information and going to seminars and buying courses when I was in real estate. And it wasn't until I had a coach or a mentor guide me to help me get to this deal and have my breakthrough. And in the most recent years, I would say probably 8 years ago, I made a decision in my life and I said, I will no longer pay to go to a seminar ever again. That was about 8 years ago. I forgot what year it was, but I remember on my goal sheet, I made that statement. I said, I will not go. This is more similar what it says. I will not go and I will not pay for a seminar ever again. The only time I will go to a seminar or conference is when I'm speaking at it. And that came to fruition. That came to life. Actually, I started, soon after I made that decision, all of a sudden I started being hired and booked to speak at all these kinds of events, whether it was finance, real estate, options trading, all this stuff. I started speaking and hired to speak at all these events. And that's how I go to them. Even masterminds. I ended up starting my own mastermind over time, but that was just a decision I made. And it's interesting, when this pen showed up, I literally sat down. I was shocked. I said, why is this? How? I thought this pen is in Portugal. I know it's locked in the drawer and it's there. Okay, even if 5 years ago I pulled out stuff out of that drawer and it was here with me in Uganda, how is it in my messenger bag, which I use daily? I even tip it over and I empty it out. I clean it out with a rag and I wash it. How did this pen show up? I know. Like I said, God works in mysterious ways. And all this pen is a reminder that no matter what I'm going through, I have to go from fear to faith. And I want to share that same message with you. I'm not sure if you're going to have an object. Maybe it would be physical or spiritual, or maybe it's an idea, or maybe it's something someone says and it just catches your attention. And it's a confirmation to what you need to do. It's a confirmation to what you need to do in your mission to move forward and build this online business and start making more revenue and change your life legacy. But let that moment be a reminder that you need to do something. You need to step forward. You need to go from fear to faith.